Well, to Qatar now, and the Al Khor Stadium, also known as the Bayt Stadium, seats 60,000 people. They started building in 2014 to be ready for the FIFA World Cup. It's hosted matches of the FIFA Arab Cup as its inauguration. Jude van Wyk has more.
Stage of the opening match of the FIFA World Cup between Qatar and Ecuador. This is the only stadium that is not located within the wider Doha area. The design of the stadium was inspired by the inside of a Bedouin's tent, which is colored red, white and black. These tents are also known as the Bayt Al, which is where the stadium gets its nickname from, the Bayt Stadium. The Al Khor Stadium consists of 3 tiers of seating, which will seat 60,000 spectators. After the World Cup concludes, the 3rd tier will be removed and the capacity reduced to 32,000. The stadium also features a retractable roof, which takes 20 minutes to open and close. Exactly a year before the FIFA World Cup final, on the 18th of December 2021, the Al Khor Stadium hosted the FIFA Arab Cup final, where Algeria beat Tunisia 2-0 after extra time. The matches at the stadium include the opening match between host nation Qatar and Ecuador, as well as a match between 2010 world champions Spain and 2014 world champions Germany, the clash between Western allies USA and England. The stadium is reflective of the rich culture of the region, with its Bedouin tent exterior. For a city that has totally transformed over the last 15 years, it highlights the message that the Gulf region is ready to enter the modern world and share its values at the same time.
Well, Khotso Sello joins us now from the Bayt Stadium in Qatar. Khotso, good afternoon to you. The stadium already seeing action today. What does it look like?
Yeah, the stadium has already hosted 2 matches. If you remember, it was the opening match between Qatar and Ecuador. And today we saw Croatia and Morocco play to a goalless draw. And we were obviously rooting for Morocco as our African brothers there. And unfortunately, you know, they couldn't get the maximum 3 points. But I think it is a very good point to earn, because Croatia is littered with world beaters in terms of star power. And they had Luka Modric at number 10, who plies his trade at Real Madrid. And they played at this beautiful, majestic stadium, Stephen. And, I can confirm some of the facts about the stadium, because myself, Ritumezi Ditinti and Benjamin Leshuru had the privilege of watching the first match here when Ecuador beat the host nation Qatar. And I can tell you this, as soon as, it hit night time, when the temperatures dropped, it was freezing cold inside the stadium, because the stadium is fully air conditioned and there are nozzles beneath each seat, and we could feel, the chills in our feet. And we were actually handed a fleece, to cover us and make sure that we are warm. And, who carries a jersey or a blanket to the, to the desert? And it is very weird to see, such an environment being created, winter being simulated. But that's all because of the reason that they wanted the grass to be able to grow. The grass on the pitches is actually imported from the United States of America. But I also want to draw you a little bit outside the stadium. And what fascinated me the most, Stephen, as I mentioned that we are in the heart of the desert, there's a water feature. There are ducks. There is green grass. There are trees. You cannot make this stuff up. I mean, who would ever think a fully functioning park, a green environment in the middle of the desert? And I think, as much as people say that the Qatari people are, they splurge their money towards anything and everything that they do get, I think this is absolutely majestic. And I think because they do not have natural beauty in this part of the world, it's something to give back to the people here. And it's going to be a great, World Cup legacy for the people here. It's a green facility which is equivalent to 30 football pitches. And tourists can come here and enjoy things like running, cycling, and all sorts of things. So I think the legacy that the World Cup will leave here for the people in Qatar is absolutely fantastic, because they do not have the greenery and the mountains that we have, which are natural in Africa.
Gosh, Khotso, it sounds like that's an area that needs its own weather forecast by the looks of it. And the vibe there, I mean, you'll be experiencing the vibe as well. How does it feel?
The vibe is very much alive, Stephen, particularly after Saudi Arabia beat the South Americans, which is Argentina, yesterday. And you must remember, these areas are predominantly Arab states. And after that win by Saudi Arabia, the second lowest ranked team in the tournament, it just spurred the locals on. I mentioned earlier in a crossing that from the hotel where we stay in, a lot of people started packing the buses and coming to purchase their tickets late in order to make sure that they were able to come catch the Morocco match that happened earlier on today. But I think as well, as much as football is not the number one sport in this part of the world, it's such a brave call by FIFA to bring it to this part of the world. The football needs to be a game that is enjoyed by everyone on all corners of the world. And I think the fact that there were so many negative reports and saying they are not ready, they are not a footballing nation, I don't feel that it has any weight of any significance, because football should be enjoyed by everybody and anywhere, no matter where you are in the world.
Khotso, Sello, thank you very much indeed. Reaching for his raincoat by the looks of it in Qatar. Don't think he packed it. Thanks very much for that update.